Speed to insights is one of the most important things.
Speed up, says Don Packett.
The unfair advantage.
Hello, and welcome to episode 10, double digits, baby. Episode 10 of The Unfair Advantage. I am your co-host, Kelvin Jonck, and we're breaking with tradition a bit today because I'm starting the show for a change. Because, Don, you and I were actually chatting recently about something that's been playing on your mind, or at least kind of resurfaced in your mind, and maybe tell the audience what's going on in your head.
Yes. Hello, Kelvin Jonck. Thank you for having me on your show. It's a pleasure to be here. Listen, so in episode 6 of Unfair Advantage, I was re-listening to it the other day, and our wonderful guest, Kate Syuma, said a specific thing about AI that really stuck with me.
If I delegate too much to AI, I feel I'm not an owner of that outcome anymore. This is one issue. The other issue is the speed of creation. So whenever AI can generate something or create something, I feel myself like as a human not capable anymore. I feel like I'm not good enough. I cannot create good stuff anymore. So whenever we interact with AI, we need to think about how to make that interaction like human plus AI, like as a partnership, right? Not like somebody stealing someone's job, or, if AI is so fast, how I can be faster, how I can think faster.
And so this clip, it made me think about something that I delved into years ago. So for context, it was like over a decade ago. I was sitting on an overnight international flight. I wasn't sleeping. I was pondering the world's problems, as you do. And this concept of speed was sort of sitting on my mind, like speed in everything that we do, from instant gratification to rushing from one thing to the next, and or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It was like in the early 2010s, and it felt like after the 2008 2009 financial crisis, the world went into this big drive of just getting shit done fast. Right. So my lens at the time was really sitting around on the plane about speed, and then technology was playing a big part in where my head was. While everyone was sleeping, I started writing this talk called Speed Kills. And the tagline was why the rapid adoption of technology is killing incremental progress. And I thought I was super smart. And the whole thing was about this rationale to slow down and, take things chilled, and we don't have to rush. And I use examples of how, like good wine, things take time, and the strongest trees are the slowest growers, and all this, random stuff around. Let's just slow down, guys. Woosah, take a chill pill. I use statistics like how Facebook and Twitter took, hundreds and hundreds of days to get to 10 million users, and Google Plus took 16 days to get to 10 million users, but they died a very, very quick death after that. So, so good things take time, and, go too quickly and things are going to crash.
Google what?
Exactly. That thing that you had to build circles of people, friends and family and acquaintances, and all these circles of things. And it was terrible. It was just, we all jumped on and we're like, meh, this is not as cool as the others, and just died. And there's, like lots of stats that people have seen in time and time again about how many apps are opened once and never opened again after being downloaded, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So for me, it was quite a pivotal moment to, personally remind myself that good things take time, and to try and educate others. I think I even did a TED talk on it. I did it at corporate events and conferences and stuff. And so, I wanted to put into place these mechanisms for me and people around me to slow down and build progress incrementally, or we'll die a quick death.
Yeah, sounds euphoric. Did it work?
I wish I could say yes, but no, not a chance, man, because, the principle is sound. We all want to slow down. There's this beautiful, magical euphoria where everyone's patient and kind, and shareholders are okay to wait. But the reality is far from that, and because everyone else has a vote. So I pivoted, and a year later, I ripped the talk apart, basically built a new one. You're taking the old one as a base, obviously, and then showing people that while it is, in certain areas of our life we should be trying to slow down. The point is we have to stay ahead of the pack, and speed is the only thing we have left. So, I received a similar amount of head nods when I hit some big hitter points, but this time the eyes staring back at me after saying, speed up, speed up, speed up. They looked more afraid than euphoric.
Yeah, so you went out to scare people, or?
So I got scared, to be perfectly honest, in terms of now realizing that I needed to personally in my business and everything needed to speed up and make sure that we're ahead of the pack. But it wasn't necessarily to go out and really scare people, but also kind of, because, dude, right now, if I ask you to picture a person who doesn't need to worry about things moving fast and getting things done as soon as possible, the image you have in your head is this hippie in a commune, singing Kumbaya, growing their own vegetables and, living off the land without a care in the world. But we're all on the hamster wheel.
Yeah. And I mean, you mentioned Kate earlier, and Kate actually spoke about the speed of AI, and we're losing humanness, I guess, to tasks, and then kind of feeling capable of doing good things, whether we're designers or engineers or writers or, even strategists, almost like it makes us feel dumb, or even look dumb sometimes if you're caught out. And kind of for us to look at AI as more of a partner than a threat, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, look, and more recently, I also saw this post by Yakuru at BobGroup, and they were sharing, or he was sharing their buyer insights, which I thought was pretty cool. He shared it as a LinkedIn post, which we can put into the description of this podcast as well. And he shared that there's a big lift at 9 a.m. And there was a couple of things that he did mentioned around, a lot of people searching at night on their laptops, on their phones, and then 9 a.m. People actually, purchasing the things in the cart and whichever way that happened. And he added that the need to have a stable, with these insights, just to share with other people, the need to understand when buyer lift happens and the need to have a stable site in the early mornings to cover the rush of purchases, et cetera, et cetera. So for me, it was really cool because it was one insight, right, which is buying time. That's the single insight that they found. But there's so much that enables a lot more decision making across the board. Not just when to market, but how to make your product rigid enough to carry the load. And for me, this is the power of analytics. So of course, you and I are in the tech space, and speed to insights is one of the most important things. So the power of analytics plus good technology to enable us to be making these good decisions as quickly as possible is paramount. Otherwise, if we go back to this whole speed kills, it doesn't. Speed is what we have. So it's the power of listening, whether it's social listening or product listening, that's going to differentiate the champs from the chumps, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. And it actually reminds me, I think I spoke to somebody about it this morning. I've always found that in any space, I suppose, but in the social reporting space, right? Everybody wanted that monthly report, and they wanted it done in a certain way, and they wanted to cover certain things. And if it was one day late, it was an issue, but it had to be in their inboxes. And
Friday, 5 p.m. That's the best
Friday, 5
time
p.m.
for a report to be delivered.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reality to that is, by the time that report hits their inbox, the data is out of date. By the time, if it's Friday, by the time they open it on Monday, it's out of date. And so the opportunity to do something with that element of speed is already out of the window. So listening is one part of it, but listening with the intent of acting in the moment becomes vital. Otherwise, everybody's just wasting their time with analysis paralysis, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and old, as soon as it's exported, that data is old, right? Because there's new stuff happening. There has to be new stuff happening. So speed in this instance is crucial. Having the right data and insights at your fingertips is... It's what all of us need, and a lot of companies are struggling with this, of course, because you need to find the right reasons for getting the right data into the right hands for those people to make decisions, of course. But this is where we're at, and I think in the little parting note, we'll leave the slowing down to the winemakers and the tree growers, right? Because I think as businesses, as individuals in business, speed is it.
That's it. Thank you. Speed up, says Don Packett. Don, thank you. Thank you for taking us down, taking us down memory lane. It's been a pleasure getting into the brain of your head. brain of your head. Is that a
Into the
thing?
brain of my head. It's a weird.
Okay. Hopefully we can hear some more nuggets. But yeah, thank you very much. See you on the next one.
Magic. Thanks, KJ.
The unfair advantage.